Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to League Racing TV here for round number 5 of the CTC Console Championship. My name is, of course, Michael Edwards, going to be taking you through the action, and tonight we take on the streets of Baku. Yes, we're here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, the first sprint race of the calendar. We're not sure if we're going to get any more sprint races. This could be the only one, but we're here for a sprint race. So, of course, things are a little bit different in the sprint race format. Of course, what I believe is the format for tonight is the sprint format will, of course, be a one-shot qualifying session to decide the grid for the sprint quali, for the sprint race, I should say. And then, of course, we'll do the sprint race, where, of course, it is the top 10 will get points. So 10 points for the win, 9 points for second, going down to 10th place, which gets one singular point. And then we'll have a short qualifying session to determine the grid for the 50% race. So a little different, obviously, the regular where we do the full qualifying, but it should throw up some interesting race dynamics. And of course, with it being Baku, it's definitely going to be a tricky circuit, that is for sure. And let's actually have a little look at the Baku circuit in question. Of course, 6 kilometers, 3.7 miles, 20 corners, 2 DRS zones, one down the start finish straight and one down in towards turn number 3. A lot of 90-degree corners there to really catch some people out, and of course that infamous castle section where you have to be so accurate going through that particular chicane. You should climb up through the castle section, very easy to clip the wall, pick up a bit of front wing loss, and you know that could be your lap over and done with. And you never know, you could be doing a Charles Leclerc saying I am stupid in the wall. You never know, you absolutely never know. And of course some key corners to keep an eye out for as well. Obviously turn 15 at the top of the hill, another corner to keep an eye out on, because you can clip that curb, you can clip it a little bit wrong and it can send you off into that wall on the exit of turn 15. So you really got to be on point with that one. Of course, you can drift a little bit too deep into turn 1 and clip the outside wall going through there. And of course, pretty much every single corner, if you go a little bit deep, you are running the risk of clipping the wall. In terms of the overtaking opportunities, yes, down the start finish straight in towards turn 2, if you can get alongside enough to go side by side through turn 1, you can maybe have a look down the inside in turn 2, but the corner really does tighten up on you through there. And of course, turn 3 with DRS, another key overtaking opportunity as well. In terms of other overtaking opportunities, I think turn 5, if you get enough of a run out of turn 4, you can maybe send it around the outside to have the inside for the second part of the chicane. So we'll see what the drivers are going to do for that one. Now, before we go any further, let's have a look at the standings as they currently are in the championship, as we are actually going to go with the race result from last week. Of course, Sergio did take the race win in Jeddah last time out, and of course we had a double Shazoo podium with Volokongan and Dirk joining Sergio in the podium celebrations. Ticho there for TF10 in P4 with Kevin Zumberg in P5. A very good battle that we had towards the end of that race between Ticho and Kevin, as well as Dirk, Volokongan and Sergio. The top 5 really a class of their own. Leora for LR came home in 6th place, with Schumacher for EVR in 7th. And then of course we had Justin in 8th, with Just Goaded in 9th, and of course Tiago rounding out the top 10. And then of course we had Dome, Crowdin, Aaron, and then I believe we had Daniel's AI car that was running around there in 14th place, and our non-finishers were of course Callum, Lifeboat, Devil and Predestinado. Of course, tonight we're going to see if Shazoo can carry on their form from last week. Because remember, ET8 closed down the gap quite considerably going into last week, and then Shazoo with a double podium and one DNF for ET8 has allowed Shazoo to build that gap. They're currently leading the championship on 112 points ahead of ET8, who are currently on 96 points, 16 points adrift from Shazoo. TF10 in P3 at the moment with 74 points, and they are just 7 points ahead of Evolution Racing in P4, and they're on 67 points. 44 points for Future Racing Team, who of course had to pull out of the championship, so they'll be taking no further part. And I believe they are going to be replaced by a Ground Effect Spec Racing, so we're going to see how they get on here, as I believe it is going to be the inaugural race for them tonight. Legacy Racing in P6 on 34 points, with 30 points for All Elite Racing Team in 7th. Alien Motorsport in 8th on 21 points. Same with Bravo Racing Club. And Azuri Esports completing the top 10 on 20 points. And of course, the Drivers' Championship, you've got Oscar leading the way, 4 points ahead of Silo. Volokongan there in 3rd with Kevin Zumberg in 4th Ortiz. Ticho, Sergio, Oxcu, Leoira, and Schumacher there in the top 10. Now, guys, of course, because it is one-shot qualifying, we are not going to cut through midway through qualifying as what we normally do. We're going to make sure that we are going to be on board with someone as quickly as possible. And it's difficult because I do not have a graphic tonight to show you the drivers' lineup, so I will have to go through Discord, and we will have to see how that goes. But the drivers have readied up in the lobby, so everyone is getting the setups and everything sorted, the tire allocations and that sorted, and we'll be seeing what happens in one shot quali, which will determine the grid for the sprint race. So let's go ahead and let's head over to the track, as we are just loading in right now. Yep, there we go, and the drivers will be loading their setups. And this, unfortunately, is where okay, right, that's good. I was hoping that I would not get this annoyance where it pauses my game whenever I am not tapped into F1, but it seems that we might be okay on that front. But we will see. Right. And okay, right, there we go. Alright, so we are on board with Kevin Zumberg to get us underway here in qualifying as we come through turn number 1. Looking to get a nice exit as we head towards turn number 2. Throwing the car in, making sure that you don't hit the wall on the exit, and that's unfortunately exactly what Kevin has done there. So that is unfortunate for him. Definitely would have scrubbed off a bit of time. But now in towards turn number 3, again clipping the wall on the exits. We go through turn number 4 and again hitting the wall. And I think Kevin's setup just might not have the downforce to get through these corners, because he's hitting the walls on the exit almost every single corner. And now coming through towards the castle section, this is where you can't afford to be hitting any walls, and so close as Lifeboat has retired from the session, so I'm assuming he's made contact with the wall. And now Kevin Zumberg, by making it through the castle section with no real difficulties, he is now up into P3. But coming through turn 15, does clip the wall on the exit, and now in towards turn number 16, tries to get a good exit if possible. His teammate Mishka there in P5, so right now it's a good showing for EVR. And now nothing to do but put your foot to the floor, wait for the DRS activation point, and now crossing the line there will be Volokongan to take a pole position ahead of Alex Marciano, and then we'll have Kevin Zumberg in P3. As Dirk looks like he's had a bit of a nightmare there. Probably lost some front wing. Actually, visually doesn't look like he's lost any front wing, but I'm guessing he's had a moment somewhere. Same with Dome and Crowden here. So, to run you through the order is, of course, Volokongan with pole position with Alex Marciano in second place, Kevin Zumberg in P3 with Thiago in P4, Mishka in P5 with RWB in P6, Ticho in 7th with Medal in 8th, Justin 9th, typical rounding at the top 10. Outside of the top 10, we got Lucas, Gitankas, then of course Ivan, Dome, Crowden and Lifeboat, and Dirk unable to get lap times on the board. And I'm just trying to go through the lineups here tonight. So of course Alex Marciano and Lifeboat are in for ET8 here tonight. Kevin Zumberg and Mishka there for Evolution Racing. Of course, for I believe LR, it is who is in for LR? Hang on. Okay, it is typical in for LR, and I believe it is Digio in for, it was a late change. He's in for Callum here tonight. Originally it was meant to be Callum and typical, but it's Digio and typical now. For Azuri it is Ella, Daniel and Justin in for them. Alien Motorsport is of course Ivan and Lucas. For Shazoo obviously it is Volokongan and Dirk. For Ground Spec Racing, it is RWB and Medal. And then for Bravo Racing Club, it is Dome and Cosimo in Bravo Racing Club. And of course, for All Elite Racing Team, it is Crowden and Geetan. Now, of course, we are missing a free driver, so when we get to the grid, I will quickly try to clarify which drivers are missing. Of course, we got 17 out of 20 that are scheduled to be here tonight, and yeah, it is unfortunate. Obviously, TF10 is Ticho and Tiago in for them. I don't think I mentioned TF10, so just making sure I am getting that in. Right, well, guys, let me know in the chat, who are you backing for the race win? Who are you backing to be topping the times in the short qualifying a bit later? Who is going to be taking the sprint race victory? And who will be taking the 50% race victory? Let me know, guys. Let me know. Of course, 10 points up for grabs for the victory in the sprint race. Who will be collecting the 10 points here? Will it be Volokongan for Shazoo? Will it be Alex Marciano for ET8? Will it be Kevin Zumberg for EVR? Will it be one of the TF10 drivers in Ticho or Tiago? let me know. But here we go, guys, to the 5 red lights. It gets underway here for the sprint race. 5 red lights are out and we are underway. 9 laps of Baku await the drivers as Volokongan gets to turn 1 absolutely smooth and cool, calm, collected ahead of Alex Marciano, who is... Sorry, no, Alex was not under pressure, but he may be soon, depending on what happens here. But right now, we got Kevin Zumberg, Thiago, and Mishka all scrapping it out for P3. A little bit of side-by-side contact between Kevin and Thiago as they go wheel to wheel through turn number 3 and number 4. And it looks like Kevin has managed to get himself into P3 after losing it momentarily to Thiago. His teammate now in behind trying to put the pressure on, but look at this, typical, and Lucas battling it out for P9 and 10. Oh, contact and Medal. I think Medal and Lucas getting tangled up on each other. There's front wing damage here for Gaetan as well. Yeah, that is a front left end plate gone on the Ferrari there for Gaetan. Unfortunately, all elite racing team, it's going to be a long day for him. A long day. Of course, interesting to go on to the strategies of everyone out there. There's some drivers that have gone for the mediums and some that have gone for the hards. Of course, Volokongan and Alex Marciano starting at the front. They've gone for the set of the hard compound tyres. And then, of course, we've got medium tyres from Kevin, Thiago, Mishka, and, of course, Ticho there from P3 down to P6. The EVR TF10 checkerboard right there of those 4 positions. And, of course, RWB on the set of hards, with Justin also on the set of hards, and we've got medium, so typical, Lucas and Medal, then of course hards for Gaetans, who unfortunately has that wing damage to his name. So we did hear someone make contact with the wall there. I'm not seeing any front wing fly off at all. Lifeboat and Dirk also on the set of hards, along with Crowdin as Ivan on the set of the mediums, same with Dome. On board with Ticho though, as he tries to close up to the back of Mishka. As it looks like Kevin is about to drop Thiago out of DRS range, and that could be crucial because now that should allow Mishka a great opportunity to get ahead of the TF10 driver down the start finish straight and put EVR in a very good position. Oh, there we go with DRS, as simple as you like. Mishka up into P4. Looks like Ticho just held back a bit. As we got the Alien Motorsports drivers trading positions, Dirk and Dome trading positions as well in the back. And Mishka unfortunately does not have DRS on his teammate, so this could be interesting. Oh, front wing flying off there of Mishka's car, and that will be absolute alarm bells in front now for Thiago. He'll know that Mishka has just lost some end plate and will be affected with some downforce. There'll definitely be communications now between Thiago and Ticho on this right here, and both of them will probably be looking to get through ASAP down the start finish straight with DRS. I can assure you of that. They do not want to get held up behind the car with wing damage here at Baku. Lap 3 of 9. Volokongan still leading the way. Alex Marciano in second place. Kevin up there in P3. Now though, Mishka in a bit of bother. However, Kevin might do Miska a solid here. So we're going to stay on board with Kevin just to see if he does. Nah, okay, so Kevin does not try and help his teammate out, and honestly, that's to be expected. Here goes Tiago through up into P4. Ticho closing in, but not close enough to go through turn 1, but gets a good run out of turn 2, and he could have a look in towards turn 3. But he just mounts a little bit too much that inside curve, and that might just compromise him a bit. It is absolutely crucial now for Ticho to get through on Mishka ASAP because of that wing damage. It is going to hinder the EVR driver in this race having that front wing damage, and it's going to hinder Ticho, RWB typical, and Justin and the likes of now if they catch up to the back of the Sauber here. Of course, another thing to note is the difference in terms of the tyres as well. So, I believe at the end of the sprint race, the hards will be the better tyre. I think for right now, though, the mediums might be... They should be a little bit better than the hards at this point, but from the looks of it, it seems that, like, the hard tyres are just a very good race tyre around here, so... That is an interesting dynamic which we have by here, and Miska though not going to be able to make a move, and neither will Ticho, but RWB getting over the back of the TF10 driver here, coming through turn number 1 now in towards turn number 2. Definitely has the better in terms of the ERS battery right now, and elects to use a bit of that battery, but it's not going to be close enough to go for any moves here thus far. As Dirk and Dome into the pits, both of them putting on a fresh set of mediums here. Lap 5 of 9. Volokongan right now is looking to pick up all 10 points here for Shazoo Cedar Igniters. Alex Marciano there looking to pick up 9 points. Right now, Evolution Racing Team with Kevin and Mishka going to be picking up the most points right here with, of course, 8 points for Kevin and, of course, 6 for Mishka right now. Tiago and Mishka very equal on ERS at this moment. Ticho definitely needs to save up a bit of battery here, but it looks like RWB is going to be pushing his battery. Of course, the driver representing Ground Effect Spec Racing, he's got his teammate in P10, so both of them are at the moment scoring some points here, but Medal is under pressure from getting there in 11th place, and of course Lifeboat there as well. Of course, getting there for All Elite Racing Team, and of course Lifeboat for ET8 Esports. And speaking of Lifeboat, looks like he's making the move there down the inside. Job done. Oh, a little bit of contact on the inside wall there for getting. I think he's managed to get away though without any damage. But now, Lifeboat, potential opportunity to take a point away from Medal here, who is trying his best to get onto the back of Justin, but I think the hards might just be the better tyre now, because it looks like it just looks like a little bit that the hards just about have better grip in the corners right now. And yeah, look at that. See how much the time fly down between Typical and Justin here. So I think Lifeboat, if he gets through now on the start-finish straight, ooh, a big mistake up ahead from Justin. I think it was. It's not going to put him under immediate threat from medal at this point, but potentially Lifeboat could be causing Justin some problems in the closing stages of the sprint race here. As the battle for fourth between Thiago Mishka, Ticho and RWB still stays as it is right now, but I'm staying on board with Lifeboat because I have a feeling Lifeboat's about to get this move done on medal here. Down in towards turn number 3, and he's on the DRS and the ERS. He's got the overspeed now, and he looks to the inside. Job done for Lifeboat here. And now if Lifeboat can catch up to the back of Justin, this will be very interesting because Typical's not too far up the road either. So we could have a nice tasty fight going on for 8th place towards the end of this sprint race. As Kevin Zumberg though has dropped out of DRS range on Alex Marciano, who is of course 2 seconds off the back of Olakonga now, who's absolutely drove away from the rest of the field here. This is the battle to keep an eye on, the battle for 4th. Thiago, Mishka, Ticho, RWB. We're going to see if RWB is going to have the overspeed to make this work. But look at that in behind as well. Typical has now fallen into the ranges of Justin here with DRS. And Lifeboat is now also in the mix. Medal has dropped away from Lifeboat. So it's unfortunate there. It doesn't look like points in the sprint race will be on the board for medal here, but you never know around Baku. One mistake is all it takes and the race can be turned on its head. Ticho unfortunately just looks like struggling with his ERS saving as well. Thiago's doing a fantastic job. He's got so much ERS to play with compared to Mishka as well as Ticho. I just think that Ticho's just going to fall into the clutches of RWB here, and then we're going to have a nice little freeway scrap going on for P8, and that is Ivan out of the race at the top of the castle section. As we just jump on board with Dirk, we're going to see if the car stays there. Looks like he lost it on traction coming out of the castle section, which is not ideal for him. Back though to the battles. RWB, this should be job done here. Ticho dropped out of DRS range on Mishka, and here comes RWB up into P6 he goes. Lovely stuff from him. And now this freeway fight for P8 about to kick off. Typical, Justin, Lifeboat. Final lap of the race here in the sprint race. Olakonga leading the way, 2.7 seconds the gap. Alex Marciano 2.5 seconds ahead of Kevin, who is currently in 3rd place. Oh, looks like Justin getting very hot on the brakes there, and a little bit of a tap on the rear, and that's going to allow now Typical and very close here. Typical and Justin getting their elbows out. The RB and the Red Bull are getting a little bit frisky with each other, as we got Lifeboat here just sat ready and waiting to try and take advantage of a situation in front of him, if at all possible. But it looks like was. It looked like Justin had a bit of a run there, but that's brought Medal back into this as well now. So the battling with those guys has brought Medal into it. The only one that will not have DRS is this man in typical, but up towards the front, it will be Volokongan to take all 10 points for Shazoo Cedar Igniters with the race win ahead of Alex Marciano in second place. RWB is not going to be close enough. But let's go to this battle, the battle for P8 here, because we have typical. He's got a bit of a gap on Justin, but look, here comes Lifeboat as well. Lifeboat with the double toe, and he's just not going to be able to get in time. But look at that, that's a 10th, well, just over a 10th between typical and Justin, but less than half a 10th between Justin and Lifeboat in the end. And then of course we'll have Dirk and I was going to say Dome, but Dome unfortunately has crashed it out of the sprint race. But here comes Dirk now to take the checker flag. And complete the sprint race here in Baku. Now, it is of course Volokongan with the winner header, Alex Marciano in second, with Kevin there in third, Tiago in fourth, with Miska in fifth. RWB in sixth place with Ticho in seventh. Typical there comes through in eighth ahead of Justin in ninth, and Lifeboat completes the points main position in 10th place. Outside of the points was of course Medal, Crowden, Gitten, Lucas, and of course Dirk there. And then of course our non-finishers were Dome and Ivan. As I believe the order of proceedings now will be a restart now of the lobby, and we will get into the qualifying again in just a moment's time. So what we are going to do is of course go through our sponsors in the meantime. So let me just get everything up by here, and we'll run through our sponsors, and of course we will then go to our intermission while we wait for the new lobby to be set up. So, of course, to our sponsor, first and foremost, with Pivot Media, of course, the marketing agency offering graphic and video designers to elevate your brand and business. Make sure you guys check out their X in the description down below. And, of course, to our partner, of course, with Virtual Setup Engineer, the brand new setup shop for all your setup needs, where they offer setups for every single track, plus a custom chat box so you can customize your setups to your driving style. And then of course to a Gridfinder as well on top of that. But guys, while we get the lobby reset and everything, we will be right back. We're just going to go on a short intermission until the lobby has been reset, and then of course we'll be ready for 18 minutes of qualifying, and then we will be jumping into 26 laps of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We'll catch you in a bit, guys. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we are now ready to jump in to the short qualifying here in Baku, and then of course we'll have the 50% race. After the sprint race, we are back to the regular point system, so I'll bring the points up here tonight. Of course, it is a point for the fastest lap and a point for the pole position, so it's going to be important to see who comes out on top here. 22 points for the race win, 18 points for second, 15 points for third, 12 points for fourth, 11 points for fifth, and it goes down in increments of 10 until 15th place, where you get one singular point. Now, there are some drivers that have joined now for the main race. Of course, we've had Cosmo join in. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what's happened to Dome for Bravo Racing Club. He was here in the sprint race, but he hasn't joined for the main race, unfortunately. And then, of course, we've got Finn in as well, of course, for Zuri. So Justin will now have his teammate in F1, Finges. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. If not, it's a long day for me. A long day for me if I'm not. And then, of course, we have Cosimo, who has also jumped in as well. So we are missing one Bravo Racing Club driver. And I believe, if I am correct, Digio is in traffic right now for LR, and he should be able to join at some point in the qualifying session. So hopefully we will get all 20 drivers in. But time will tell on that one, as the drivers are currently on their outlap. So I'm going to jump on board with the driver that is going to be the first one to set a lap, and I think it will be Lifeboat. So we'll jump on board with Lifeboat, and then we'll jump over to the action out on track as he comes through to start his first flying lap here in qualifying. As you see, all of the drivers are out there on track, apart from the two in the pits. Finn, of course, retires in the pit lane, and of course Gitten, who has yet to come out, but he is coming out right now, and he's going to be in a spot above there because he's going to have a lot of cars on quick laps coming through behind him. But here comes a Lifeboat now as we start his flying lap coming through turn number 1. Lifeboat will be hoping for a better qualifying performance than what he showed in the one-shot qualifying. Through turn 2 he goes now. A little tap of the wall on the exit as DRS is wide open as we run down in towards turn number 3. Just before the 100 meter brake marker board, throwing the car through turn 3 and now in towards turn number 4. Again, a little love tap on the outside wall there on the exit of 4 as we go through turns 5 and 6. Getting through the lovely stuff in towards the infamous castle section, and Lifeboat throws the car through, missing the wall thankfully, but he did get very close to the wall in the castle section, but he does navigate it completely fine there as we head towards the next braking zone at turn 15. The downhill left-hander getting a little bit onto that inside curve, but does not tap the wall on the exit, and now through 16 he'll go. Ticho, unfortunately, out of the session. Looks like he's put in the wall at the castle section, unfortunately there for Ticho, but Lifeboat has kept his cool, calm, composed here, and looks like he's going to be setting the first lap time of the session, and it is going to be a 1:38.3 for Lifeboat. And then Dirk immediately beats that by 6 tenths of a second, jumps up into provisional pole position. And his teammate was alongside him on the front row momentarily, but Mishka there with a 38.1 separates the two Shazoo drivers, and then Alex Marciano there up into P2 as well. As we got lap times coming in, looks like Cosimo. Looks like he's had an issue or two on his lap, but Ticho going to be starting from the back of the field. Not ideal for him. Looks like Lucas, unfortunately, into the pits. He's done with his lap. Typical to the line now, and what's it going to be for Typical? 38.9, good enough for P11 thus far. Geerton there on his lap. As he comes through turn 15 now, the middle sector split. Oh, big snap on the exit, and that has definitely cost him a decent amount of time, but 1 minute 15.3 in the middle sector for Geerton there, as he is going to try to get himself into the mid 38s and try and get himself up the order. Of course, 38.6 is the time from Tiago, currently in 6th place, so a mid 38 will be the one to aim for, but Geerton there with a 39 flat. $18 of 20 drivers here tonight. Unfortunately, Dome hasn't joined thus far, so hopefully he can get himself in ASAP. Hopefully Cosimo will be able to send him an invite at some point, but looks like Cosimo is going to go again. So we'll stay on board with Cosimo here, obviously for Bravo Racing Club, as he is going to be going through turn number 2. Now, it's very interesting that Cosimo has gone for a second flying lap on this set of tyres. So, I mean, his first lap was definitely well off the pace, so he's definitely made a big mistake there on his first lap. But, I mean, me personally, considering how long and how treacherous this track can be, you want to have the best possible chance in qualifying. So, chucking on a set of fresh tyres will do that, as we got 11 minutes remaining, and he's gone too deep, and that is his front wing off, and that could have been qualifying over for Cosimo there, but he has managed to keep going. But yeah, that's his lap over and done with, as he'll be into the pits now momentarily. You got Lucas on an out lap. He's out of sync from the rest of the field. As Alex Marciano also leaving the pit lane as well. On board with Lucas here, as we're about to get his lap underway. He's yet to get a lap time on the board. Is this going to be the lap for Lucas here for Alien Motorsport? His teammates currently inside the top 10, and that is, of course, Ivan currently in P9. Lucas will be hoping he can get near his teammate and, you know, maybe even beat him by a few tenths. Kevin Zumberg so far in P8. He's not going to be very happy with that lap time, I can assure you of that, as picking up a P3 in the sprint race. He's going to be hoping he can get himself back up there towards the front end of the field. Dirk and Volakongan up there in P1 and P4 currently. Alex Marciano just starting his flying lap, so we'll come back on board with him in a few moments time as soon as Lucas is done with his flying lap here. All valid, nice and clean through the castle section there for Lucas. Does not touch any of the walls as well, which is huge for the Alien Motorsports driver as we come down the hill through turn 15. A little bit of traffic up ahead. He's going to hope that gets out of the way. And, oh, that's a very late there from the Aston Martin. Just about getting out of the way there. Not sure if that has compromised Lucas at all. Definitely would have been a little bit put off by the Aston Martin, that is for sure. But Lucas to the line. And it's going to be a 38.8 for him. Gets himself just above his teammate Alex Marciano. Middle sector split. 2.5 temps up as we now run all the way down to the start finish line. As it looks like Medal unfortunately has crashed out. Alex Marciano though does improve in his lap time, and he is around about half a tenth off of Dirk's lap time, which is not ideal for Alex right now, but it's an improvement and he does close the gap, so he'll be hoping to find a little bit more time in his final runs here. Mishka half a second up in sector 2. This is looking big for the Evolution Racing team driver. EVRs. Mishka now coming down to the line, and it's going to be potential provisional pole here. And yes, it is. It's a 37.594. What is Dirk doing? Dirk unfortunately is invalidated. Volokongan did improve on his lap time. He's also on a 37.8. Justin as well up in the P5 for the lifeboat. In P6, Thiago there, I think, yeah, big improvement there for Thiago. Gets himself to 38.3. As I think Typical will be into the pit lane any moment now. So Gitten potentially could get himself going. Looks like WB also out of the session. Cosimo needs to find some more time in the final sector if he wants to get himself ahead of the Aston Martin here. As we come down the start finish straight towards the start finish line, and what's it going to be for Cosimo? And it's a 38.9, so he does get ahead of WB here. So Medal right now obviously starting in P8 at the moment, but is under serious threat here because a lot of drivers are not too far behind in terms of lap time, to the point where Medal could end up down with his teammate in 15th and 16th place. Around about 4.5 minutes remaining here in qualifying. Kevin is coming out, and of course big pressure on Kevin here as he's about to get his lap underway. He's out of sync with the rest of the field, so he is going to be hoping that this lap will be a good one as we head down in towards turn number 1 with Kevin Zumberg. Again, a little tap on the wall on the exit of turn 2 for Kevin. He's going to look for a big improvement here in sector 1. Let's see if he's going to be able to get it though. As we got drivers now coming out of the pit lane to get their final runs underway. 6 times improvement in sector 1. That's much better from Kevin. Right now that puts him on par with Lifeboat. If he can find any more time in this middle sector, he could be threatening the likes of Volakonga and Alex Marciano and Dirk here. As we head towards turn 15, getting through the castle section, absolutely fine. There is Kevin. Little tap on the wall on the exit of turn 15. Middle sector split. Oh, he's a second up. He's a second up in the middle sector, and a decent launch out of the turn 16 will give him the run down towards the start finish line. And is he going to be ahead of Alex Marciano and Dirk, or is he going to stay in behind them? Let's find out. He lost a bit of time, unfortunately there. 9/10 improvement, but he's up in the P5, which is good going there from Kevin. And I think that is his qualifying session over and done with. Lucas on a lap. As you see, Mishka about to start his lap as well. 2.5 improvement there from Lucas in sector 1. And this is what I was saying about Medal's lap time potentially not being good enough to keep him in a high position. He's going to drop down the order. So the times are very close in behind him. So the improvements that these guys can make on their final runs will definitely put Medal in a big heap of trouble here. Middle sector split for Lucas. He's half a second up on his middle sector split, and this is good for Lucas here. To the line will come Lucas, and it's going to be an improvement. But how far up the order is he going to go? Up to P7 with a 38.2, just ahead of Lifeboat, who has invalidated on his lap. But fortunately for Lifeboat, I think he does have the time to go again here. It looks like Mishka has backed off his lap, and he's going to go again. Dirk marginally down in sector 1. As we've got 30 seconds remaining in the session, Kevin of course retires in the pit lane. As we've got Alex Marciano just ahead of Dirk out on track, and they're just ahead of Volakonga. So Alex Marciano, middle sector split. 4 tenths up. Dirk, middle sector split. 2 tenths up. Volakonga, middle sector split. 2 tenths up. So right now Alex Marciano is threatening pole position here. Dirk and Volakonga, they're improving, but will they be able to beat Alex's time here? Alex to the line. Oh, and he just falls short of Mishka's lap time there. And there goes Dirk up into provisional pole position. Volakonga next to the line. As a 0.6 for Volakonga. Lifeboat looks to be 2 tenths down in sector 1 as he clips the wall coming through the castle. And I think that might be his lap over and done with there. But he is still going to push. He's still going to try and give it everything he's got. And Mishka, unfortunately, is invalidated on his run. So all eyes on Lifeboat here. Middle sector split. He's found almost 2 tenths in the middle sector, but he's still down on his previous best lap time. Lifeboat to the line. What's it going to be for the ET8 man? As he uses absolutely everything down the start finish straight. And there's not an improvement there for Lifeboat. No improvement there for Gittins. And unfortunately, lap time not an improvement there for Ivan either. So, I mean, Medal did lose a lot of positions in totality. He's down to P13. Not as bad as what I predicted it would have happened. But Shazoo, Cedar, Igniters, Dirk pulling it out of the bag at the end of qualifying. And I think it started to rain as well at the end of qualifying. It has started to rain. So the rain falling at the end of qualifying. Dirk does get the lap time in that he needs. And he'll start from pole position with Mishka joining him on the front row. Alex Marciano there in P3 with Volokongan there in P4. Look at that. Just over a tenth of a second separating the top four. Very, very close between them. Only 3,000 of a second separating Mishka and Alex Marciano. Kevin Zumberg there in P5 with Justin in P6. Lucas in P7 with Lifeboat in P8. Thiago P9 and Gitan rounding out the top 10. Outside the top 10 we got Typical, we got Cosimo, we got Medal, we got Crowden, Ivan, RWB, Ticho and Finges. They're going to be starting from the back of the field. Now, I did not see S95 Dome join the session, and I also don't believe I saw Digio join the session either. So yeah, I think we are going to have 18 drivers for the race. And now it is all about the strategy. We saw in the sprint race, the mediums, they do wear quite a bit around here. They do wear quite a bit, does the medium. So I'm predicting, obviously, I'd imagine everyone will be starting on a set of the hard compound tyres to go nice and long on that first stint. The hard tyres definitely seem like a very viable race tyre around here at Baku. And then, of course, we may see the mediums towards the end of the race where the fuel is lighter and they can lean on the tyres a little bit more. I think starting on the mediums might be a mistake for anyone looking to do so here. As the drivers make sure that they got their setups and everything sorted. Shazoo leading the championship as we go to the 5 red lights to get underway here in Baku. The 5 red lights are out and we are underway, and it's a good start there from Dirk leading from the front. This is free wide in the background as Alex Marciano goes deep into turn 1. Losing out massively there, and that is an incident going on in the background as we got Lucas and the Lifeboat there 2x2 like Noah's Ark. Alex, Justin, Lifeboat and Lucas there. As Lucas trying to defend with the inside line on Lifeboat, does manage to hold off the ET8 man for the time being. But look at that, Thiago getting all out of shape under braking. Go straight into Lifeboat there, and I wonder if that's going to be wing damage here for Lifeboat. He did get punted straight into the wall as Cosimo and Typical side by side now, and someone's going to have to back out. Your contact between the pair of them. Someone has to back out before the castle, and yeah, Typical does back out. A very chaotic start to the race here as we're seeing a few incidents galore. Thiago now down to 13th place. Not ideal for him here at the start. Ticho in 15th, trying to make his way up the order. As I think everything might just be calming down slightly now. So let's have a little look at the tyres everyone's gone for. And of course, everyone has opted for the set of the mediums other than Ivan and Finges. As Mishka gets the move done on Dirk, up into the race lead goes the EVR man. Cosimo and Typical battling it out for P9 and 10. It looks like Cosimo able to hold on to that position, but that's going to put Typical under pressure now from Gitten Cass, as he is going to be trying his best to get Yoda RWB into the pit lane nice and early, getting I believe a front wing repair, as Finges there picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. As Kevin gets through on Volakongan, who drops all the way down to P6. I wonder what happened to Volakongan there. Potentially a bit too much side-by-side action, and look at that. Volakongan losing hand over fist. Does he have wing damage perhaps? Visually, it doesn't look like wing damage there for Volakongan, but definitely something went on there for the Suzuka Igniters driver, as Volakongan plummets down the order. As at the front as well, Dirk getting back through on Mishka for the race lead, and now Mishka will have DRS, and DRS is definitely going to help Mishka just breeze past Dirk here. As the fastest lap of the race goes the way of Lifeboat here on lap 3, but the times are going to get quicker. I can assure you of that, as Kevin tries to close in on Dirk, but he's not close enough. And we're seeing the split happen now, as Finish has retired from the race. He's come into the pit lane and retired. Heartbreak for the RB. Hopefully we'll get some understanding in why that has happened. But on board with Thiago, as we're looking at this battle between Cosimo and Crowden going in towards the castle section, side by side they are, and someone's got to back out, and yet Cosimo does back out here as we go through the castle section. On board with the TF10 driver, as it looks like getting us has had a bit of a moment. Looks like he may have picked up a bit of wing damage, so he's getting out of the way of everyone, which is very respectable there from Getting out of the way, not hindering any of these guys. Typical though, outside of the 1 second window on Volakongan. Lifeboat all over the back of Lucas, and looks like he's going to push to get the overtake done before DRS is even activated. And he's going to use DRS to close in on Justin, who is out of DRS range of Alex Marciano up ahead. So it looks like Cosimo's he's dove into the pit lane, and so has Gaten there. So Volakongan and Lucas side by side on the exit of turn 2. Volakongan has the advantage in terms of the ERS, and Lucas really trying to outbrake and hang it around the outside, and he does hang it around the outside, so fair play there. This is still wheel to wheel coming through, and that is Lucas around. I think he's clipped the inside curb. Needs to be careful with rejoining. He does rejoin in the end, but heartbreak there from Lucas. I think he did clip that inside curb, and Volakongan will be very happy that he's managed to not get caught up in that, because that definitely could have collected Volakongan as well. So you'll be very happy that he did not get collected in that situation right there. But Lifeboat and Volakongan now getting onto the back of Justin for P5 in this race, as Justin there really attacking the curb, and that is not the ideal line through there, and he's definitely going to be under some pressure now down the start finish straight and in towards turn number 3. Volokongan, whatever happened to him at the start of the race, he seems to have put that behind him now, and he's got himself back in the rhythm as DRS is active and the closing speed is there for Lifeboat. Is he going to go for a move? No, he's going to sit in behind and look for the good run out of turn 2, as you see a bit of a slide there from Justin in front, and that is going to absolutely open the door, and he slides again, does Justin. He is absolutely drifting like it's World Rally Cross, but there goes Lifeboat through, and here will come Volokongan. Volokongan on the inside line, job done. No, cut back there, lovely little switch back there from Justin, trying to get that move back on Volokongan, but Volokongan holds the inside line, holds the position, and sticks it into P6. As crowding typical Tiago and Ticho, as well as Ivan and Medal in this train for P8. Here, Lucas, of course, out of sync now after that spin early on with his battle with Volokongan. I don't think there was any contact between the pair of them. I think it was more of a case of Lucas just getting on that inside curb and getting tagged around on the inside curb. I mean, it's easily done through turn 4. So, I mean, it is unfortunate for Lucas. He's trying to get himself back into this race, but he's a long way off the back now of these guys up ahead. Volokongan trying his best to get onto the back of Lifeboat, and Lifeboat trying his best to get onto the back of his teammate. The gap is 2.2, so there's not going to be much that Lifeboat can do here, because he's just going to lose any time that he gains with the fact that he does not have DRS on these guys. So Lifeboat is all going to be about just driving his race. Maybe think of the strategy, the undercut game. When is the right time to come into the pits? We're on lap 6 of 26. Mrska leads the way for Evolution Racing. And then of course we got Dirk for Shazoo Cedar Ignitus in second place. Kevin Zumberg making it a double EVR podium at this moment in time. Then we've got the ET8 pairing. Alex Marciano and Lifeboat in P4 and P5. Volokongan for Shazoo in P6. Then of course we got Justin for Azuri in P7. Of course his teammate Finge out of this race. P8 right now is of course crowding for All Elite Racing Team, and Gitan also out of this race as well. And then we got typical for LR, of course his teammate, no show for the second seat for LR here tonight. And of course we got the pairing of TF10 with Ticho and Tiago in 10th and 11th. Medal for Ground Effect Spec Racing right now in P12, picking up a point. Then we got the pairing of the Alien Motorsports drivers, and Ivan and Lucas 13th and 14th. And then of course we got Cosimo picking up that final point paying position, as we're seeing Volokongan get through on Lifeboat, as Dirk got through on Mrska up in the race lead. So both Shazoo drivers making an overtake happen and climbing a position here. Of course, Cosimo driving for Bravo Racing Club, currently picking up that final point paying position. And then of course RWB, the second of the Ground Effect Spec Racing drivers. He's currently outside the points, but it is a long race and you never know what can happen. He is only 4.2 off the back of Cosimo here, so everything to fight for him. As the battle for the race lead continues, Dirk leading the way ahead of Mrska in second place, Kevin there in third. Dirk there getting a fantastic launch out of 15 down the hill in towards 16. And again gets a fantastic launch out of turn 16. The gap 9.5 tenths of a second, forcing Riska to burn a bit of battery to stay within DRS range. But Alex Marciano closing up on Kevin, but he's not going to send it on the EVR driver just yet. He's happy and content staying where he is right now. Volokongan into the pits at the end of lap 7. Volokongan set the hard compound tyres on for him, and he's going to be looking for the undercut. In terms of the gap, obviously Lucas now into the pits as well. He needs to clips the inside wall on the pit lane entry, and Lucas very fortunate to not get reset onto the racing track there, because I have seen that happen many times in the past, where if you have a moment on the pit lane entry, you sometimes will get reset onto the racetrack instead of in the pit lane. So I mean, Lucas very fortunate there. Volokongan though will get the undercut now. And Volokongan's going to get the undercut, and it is going to work, I think, on... It's going to work on Alex, I think, potentially. And possibly Kevin or Mariska, whichever one stays out. Because, of course, they won't double stack with each other. I think Dirk might be in at the end of this lap also. So we'll see what happens here as we approach the pit lane phase. Is Dirk gonna fly into the pit lane? As Ivan's out of the race, and that's a safety car. Heartbreak for Volokongan. Heartbreak for Volokongan. Ivan there losing it on the exit of turn 16, and that has triggered a full course safety car here. In lap 8 of 26, Dirk in the pits, Mariska in the pits, Alex Marciano and Kevin Zumberg, Lifeboat, everyone now flooding into the pit lane. Volokongan's undercut now has been hampered. But where is he going to be relative to the rest of the field? He's going to come out in P4, so it hasn't actually gone that horribly for Volokongan. It definitely could have been better, but the safety car timing right there, I think, has done Volokongan in. But he is ahead of Kevin and Lifeboat, which I did think he'd get ahead of those two. I thought possibly he would have got ahead of Alex Marciano as well, but I think the safety car has prevented that. So Alex Marciano still holds P3 in this race. Kevin, though, obviously having the double stack, same with Lifeboat. Having the double stack, they lost a bit of time, but fortunately they do not lose sight of the podium positions here. And then, of course, Ticho and Thiago obviously are also having the double stack, and that has allowed Thiago to drop down behind the likes of Medal and Justin in this race. And big praise for the likes of Cosimo, RWB and Lucas, who are now going to be able to get themselves back into this race after their early incidents that went on at the start of this race. Of course, RWB at the pit at the end of lap 1. Cosimo, I believe, picked up wing damage and had to dive into the pits. And of course, Lucas, after the spin, when he was side by side with Volokongan coming through turn number 4, he fell all the way to the back of the field, and it was looking pretty ominous for those 3 drivers. But now they are back in the race. Lap 9, about to begin lap number 10. We're under safety car conditions here in Baku. The top 6 right now is in this order: Shazoo, EVR, ET8, Shazoo, EVR, ET8. Dirk, Mariska, Alex Marciano, Volokongan, Kevin Zumberg, Lifeboat. The top 6. Three teams inside the top 4 in the championship. The only team not there at the moment is the TF10 pairing of Ticho down in P9 and Tiago in P12. Of course, crowding for all elite racing team. Holding on to a good spot in P7. Typical for LR, currently in P8. Then, of course, Justin for Azuri in P10. Medal for Ground Effect Spec Racing in P11, picking up a couple of points right now. And then, of course, we got Cosimo, who is, of course, picking up some points right now for Bravo Racing Club. And then, of course, we got Lucas in P14, picking up some, P15, picking up some points for, of course, Alien Motorsport, as the safety car is in this lap. So we'll get back to green flag racing in just a moment's time. Dirk is the pace setter. He controls the pace. He'll decide when it is time to go back racing, as he gives the safety car a good amount of brake up in front as he backs up the field. Volokongan needs a good restart, as well as Dirk. Mariska and Alex need to respond quickly, as does Kevin Zumberg and Lifeboat here, as we wait for Dirk to go. And he's leaving it late, is Dirk. And there we go. We're back to green flag racing. Dirk has gone. And that, unfortunately, has absolutely worked out a treat for Volokongan, who has managed to get the move done on Alex Marciano. What I was going to say was unfortunate there for Mariska, because it looked like Alex Marciano was getting onto the back, but no, Volokongan getting up the order, as we got Lifeboat trying to get through on Kevin Zumberg, side by side on the exit of turn 2. Lifeboat now up into P5, Kevin Zumberg down to P6. Volokongan though getting ahead of Alex Marciano, and now Mariska is in a Shazoo Cedar Igniter sandwich here, and will need to try and get out of it ASAP, as it looks like Dirk just controlling the pace out in front right now. Absolutely flying as he was in the sprint race. Mariska already outside the 1 second window, which is not ideal here for the EVR driver, because that should allow Volokongan to get through with DRS once it is activated on the following lap. But that's worked out an absolute treat. That safety car restart from Dirk. He left it late to go, and that's worked out absolutely remarkably for his teammate, as we got typical getting through on Crowden ghosting actually at the moment. That's allowed Tiago to get through as well, as I believe Ticho and Lucas are ghosting inside each other right now. And there we go, Lucas up into P12 trying to get his race back on track. Medal has dropped down the order also. He's down to the back of the field, but as long as he keeps going, he'll pick himself up a point. So that is the key thing for him. DRS now enabled. Lap 12 of 26. Dirk leads the way 1 point for the gap. And to be fair, this could be quite big for Shazoo here, because if Volokongan can get himself ahead of Mariska, I think Dirk won't mind like just backing off a little bit to keep Volokongan in DRS, because Dirk's pace around here is absolutely incredible. So I don't think he's going to be under enough threat where he could get in a position where he gets overtaken with DRS. And I think Volokongan, if he can get past Mariska, as we see Ticho down the order, I think potential wing damage there for the TF10 driver. No, actually, doesn't appear to be wing damage. But yeah, as I was saying, Volokongan gets out of Mariska. Dirk, obviously, he has the pace to just hold on to the race lead regardless. But he can also, like, he has the pace to hold on to the race lead and keep his teammate in second place as well. I truly believe that. As we're going to see Volokongan now closing with DRS. And this should be P2 for Volokongan. And he is up into P2 and now... Yeah, there we go, as thought right there. Dirk happy to back off a little bit and keep his teammate now in DRS range. So now the Shazoo tactics begin. As Thiago down the inside of typical, up in the P7 goes the TF10 driver. Of course, his teammate Ticho now all the way down to the back of the field. Along with Medal having made another pit stop. Oh no, that is Ticho in the wall. And around goes Ticho. Half race distance is a Shazoo Cedar Igniters 1-2 right now. Dirk leading the way, Volokongan in second, Mariska there for EVR in P3. Then we got the ET8 pairing of Alex Marciano and Lifeboat in P4, P5. Then we got the second EVR driver in Kevin Zumberg in P6. Thiago for TF10 now up into P7. Then of course LR's typical in P8 with All Elite Racing Team crowding in P9, and then of course we got RWB in P10 for Ground Effect Spec Racing. Lucas Alien Motorsport in 11th, and of course we got Cosimo for Bravo Racing Club looking to the inside as he goes up the order but runs much too deep into turn 1. And that's allowed Lucas straight back through. I was going to say Cosimo getting up the order into P11 for, of course, Bravo Racing Club, but he dropped back down to P12. Then, of course, we got Justin there for Azuri Esports in P13. Medal for Ground Effect Spec Racing in P14. And then we got Ticho for TF10 in 15th place. As long as you see the checkered flag, you are guaranteed points here now. Now, looking at this right here, the only thing I think could break the Shazoo tactics by here, because obviously Dirk has the pace and he's just making sure Volokongan can stay in second. They're working very well as a team, the Shazoo pairing. I think the only thing that could possibly throw a spanner in the works is if both Mariska and Alex Marciano are able to get past Volokongan. That is the only thing that could really hinder this plan from Shazoo, but with DRS, I just don't know if it's possible. Typical getting through on Thiago. RWB getting through on Crowdin. P7, P8 swapping around, and of course P9, P10 swapping around. I'll tell you what, in terms of ERS, Kevin Zumberg is struggling compared to the rest of the top 6. Like, massively struggling. He needs to get that battery back up somehow and not lose out considerably to these guys up ahead. Murska closing in on Volakongan here. Volakongan does have the better ERS at the moment. And he is burning. Lifeboat now outside the 1 second window on his teammate, and that could be a detriment to his race. But he has just managed to get himself back within DRS before the detection point, so fortunate for him. But Lifeboat and Kevin, if they fall away, then it's just going to be a battle between those two. And then I'm not sure if Murska and Alex Marciano are going to work together to try and split the Shazoo pair in here. Shazoo working together well at the front. It's a 1-2 currently for the Shazoo Cedar Ignite as Mariska has managed to drop Alex Marciano out of DRS range, which could end the 6-way battle for the potential race win here. Unfortunately, if Alex is unable to get back in DRS range, he definitely has the ERS to get back within it if he does elect to deploy a decent amount of it. But right now the gap is 1.2 and it's holding at 1.2. In fact, he's lost a bit of time there, but he's 2 attempts quicker on this lap than he was on the previous lap. And yeah, unfortunately for Alex Marciano, no DRS for him. Oh, potentially none for Mariska either. And no, Mariska's dropped out of DRS range. He's dropped out of DRS range on Volakongan, and now that is huge now for the rest of this race, because now the Shazoo pair can just drive off into the distance, trade position back and forth, and just hold the gap. Mariska dropping away from Volakongan, and that's a safety car. A safety car has been deployed, and that has definitely thrown a spanner in the works for Shazoo's race here. I'm trying to see what the safety car was really called out for, and okay, Crowden, no front wing. So Crowden has had an incident there, and he has no front wing. It's caused a full course safety car, lap 17 of 26. And now the question is, do you pit for a set of mediums here? Because there is going to be a double stack here. If we do come into the pits, there is going to be a double stack. Dirk and Volakongan. Volakongan is going to get hit with a double stack if they do decide to come into the pits. If I'm Mariska or Alex Marciano, I'm possibly taking the pit stop right now. Because what you're going to do is cause a chain reaction down the field where others will come into the pits also. If they have a set of mediums available to them, I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. Looks like Dirk is coming into the pit lane. Volakongan backing off from his teammate to not get hit with a double stack. But I think there will still be a slight double stack there, and that should allow Mariska, potentially Alex Marciano, to get out ahead of Volakongan here. And it has worked out like that. Look at that now. Volakongan down to P4. The safety car really threw a spanner in the works. Everyone on a set of the hard compound tyres. So, not entirely happy with the mediums, especially those that ran them in the sprint race. I thought we would be seeing more medium compound tyres coming out to play, but doesn't appear so. Lifeboat has lost out massively with the double stack with his teammate. He's dropped all the way down to P9. And I think that's part of the double stack, but also I think he also got held up with cars coming through the pit lane. So Lifeboat losing out massively, dropping behind typical Thiago and RWB here. Will the safety car be in at the end of this lap? Or will we have another lap under the safety car conditions? I think we will have one more lap, as Ticho is still quite some way off the back of the field. RWB and Lucas, the only drivers opting for a set of the medium compound tyres. Everyone else has gone to hards. Cosimo, Medal and Ticho obviously on worn hards at this moment in time. Will they potentially go in the pits again, I wonder? Because the longer the safety car stays out, the better the medium tyres will look. Realistically. If they have a set of mediums available, they might not. Let's find out, does anyone come into the pit lane? Yes, Medal is in, and so is Cosimo. So they're both in. What about Ticho? Does Ticho come in? Are we seeing medium tyres for the pair of these drivers? Ooh, softs on Medal. Cosimo going for the mediums. Ticho does stay out, so he's not opting for the pit stop. So the safety car will be in at the end of this lap, as Cosimo has just gone straight on into the runoff, which has lost him 2 spots here to Medal and Ticho, but Cosimo there, not ideal for him. Now this is going to be interesting with the soft tires. Very interesting, because I don't know exactly how quick they're going to wear out. But he is going to have the pace advantage over everyone early on. If we can get some moves done nice and early, he may just be able to get towed along with DRS towards the end of this race. But if he loses DRS, he's going to be a sitting duck at the end of this race. Safety car should be in now. Yep, safety car in this lap, so we'll go back up with Mariska and Alex Marciano, who know now what happened last time. It allowed Volakongan to get himself into a great position on the restart. They need to be fully alerted now on this restart. Can Volokongan do what he done on the previous safety car restart and get the jump up on Alex Marciano here? Dirk is trying the same tactic again. He is back in the park. And here we go. We're back to green flag racing. And this time, Volokongan can't get the overtake down on anyone. So the tactic does not work a second time for the Shazoo Pirin. As we have Crowden falling down the order, Medal getting up, Lifeboat all the way down to P15, and I think that was what we heard in the background. Medal backing out here as we got side-by-side action with Cosimo and of course Justin Cosimo on the set of the medium tyres, trying to make some positions early on. Thiago just ahead of WB here. Then we got Lucas and Cosimo, the other medium runners, Crowden and Medal battling out, coming in towards the castle section. Medal being very tentative on this restart, not really pushing the soft tyres much at this stage, which is quite surprising. And Dirk, I think, yeah, Dirk realised that he couldn't get his teammate into a good position, so he is just going to try and bolt and make sure to bring home this race win for Shazoo. Lap 20 about to begin, lap 21 of 26. Shazoo's Dirk leads the way with Evolution Racing Team's Merska in second place. Alex Marciano currently in P3, Volokongan in P4, Kevin Zumberg P5, Typical P6, Thiago P7, DRS now enabled, RWB P8, Lucas P9, Cosimo rounding up the top 10, Crowden just getting past Justin in P11, and of course we got Medal in P13, Ticho in 14th, and of course Lifeboat down towards the back of the field. I'm curious to see what happened with Lifeboat at the start of that safety car restart, because he definitely fell down the order massively on the restart. Of course, the double stack meant that he was in the mid pack, and I think that might have caught him out of it. Yeah, Dirk is absolutely bolted out in front now. Look at that, 2 seconds the gap. He has absolutely gone into the distance, and he's just going to pick up the race win for Shazoo. Now, barring any penalties or mistakes, Dirk on course for the race win. But who will be joining him on the podium? Is the big question now. Who will be joining him on the podium? As we're seeing Volokongan closing in on Alex. Alex closing in on Merska. Alex down the inside gets the job done, but Merska trying to fight back. Alex there covering the inside. Oh! Merska out of this race. Out of this race. We saw it right there. Turned in a little bit too early for turn 2. And he is out of the race. Did Volokongan pick up any damage then? That's the question. I don't think so, but you never know. Yeah, Volokongan's missing the end plate. He's missing his front right end plate. Volokongan is now wounded in this race. And being outside of the DRS already on Alex Marciano. Oh, now this is really just going to throw things up in the air, because now a potential podium opportunity is on the line for the likes of Kevin Zumberg. Typical here as well, within a chance of a podium. Riska, though, heartbreak for him, unfortunately, falling victim to the inside wall at turn 2, and now Volakongan, with no ERS to his name, is just going to fall victim to DRS now. The gain will come through from Kevin, and typical as Medal climbs up the P10. Good going there from Medal on those soft compound tyres. Lifeboat getting himself back up in the P12. Justin, 3-second time penalty. Cosimo out of the race, and that's brought out another safety car here. Another safety car here. The third safety car of the evening. Lap 23. It's just going to be a one-lap shootout now. But now the possibility of a Shazoo 1-2 is back on here. Volakongan, he's not going to pit. He's not going to pit. He's going to stay out with the wing damage. And all he has to do is get the restart right. And good teamwork with Dirk. And Volakongan could hold on to P2 in this race. The end of this race is going to be very, very, very interesting. I don't foresee anyone jumping into the pits. Maybe if you are like Lifeboat or Ticho, because I mean, you lose one position, maybe two. Obviously, you know, you got Crowden and Justin with penalties, so you'll gain those positions back. You could gain a little bit more, obviously, with the sauce and that. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. I think it's worth a gamble for Lifeboat and Ticho going on a set of the sauce. Medal possibility as well. Let's see, does anyone come into the pit lane? I don't expect the race leaders to come in. No, they're staying out. Does Lifeboat come in? Oh, he threw the dummy, but Ticho is coming in. And so is Justin. Oh, I think that might have been a mistake from Lifeboat there. He definitely could have jumped in for a set of the sauce. Same with Ticho, but Ticho has come in for the sauce. Medal, I think, missed a chance as well also. I think like these three by here, obviously they would have lost like a little bit. But if they all came in, they wouldn't have lost anything. And they would have been on the fresher, quickest tyres for the final lap or two to try and get some overtakes done. Now all eyes will be on how far up the order Ticho can get in one lap. Alright, say one lap. It's going to be 2 laps because the safety car should be in at the end of this lap. As I believe Ticho and Justin will close up to the back of the pack on this lap. So we should be getting 2 laps of racing. The Shazoo restart so far. It's worked one time to get Volakongan up the order ahead of Alex. It didn't work the second time. But will it be third time's a charm? Are we going to be seeing a Shazoo 1-2 victory here tonight? And the safety car is in this lap. So again, Dirk will control the pace. He'll back off and set the pace to get us on the restart once again. Alex Marciano in a Shazoo Cedar Igniter sandwich right now. Knows he has to be aware of when Dirk goes, and he also needs to make sure that he does not get jumped by Volakongan at the start of this. 2 laps of racing remaining. And there we go. There goes Dirk. And look at that. Volokongan immediately getting on the back of Alex Marciano. Tries to go around the outside. Alex defends the inside line. And we'll hold the inside line once again. A little bit of a tap on the back there from Volokongan and Alex Marciano. As we're seeing Typical and Kevin side by side. As Typical pulls a little bit ahead. Chicho up into P10. A good start from him. Oh! RWB getting all out of shape there. Oh, look at this. Look at the grip advantage that Chicho has. Up into P9 already. As he is flying up the order. Dirk tried his best to get away. To get Volokongan up into P2. And now, one opportunity for Volokongan is with DRS. That'll be the best opportunity for him. In the background, though, you're seeing Chicho closing in on Crowden. Not going to make a move at this point in the race. But the grip advantage right now for Chicho is going to be absolutely fantastic. He just needs to be aware of these guys braking a little bit earlier on their worn tyres. As Crowden goes into the wall there, and I think that potentially has brought him a bit of damage here. Chicho right now, fantastic run out of 16 for him. As I think, yeah, he's run out of ERS. DRS is now enabled. Will Chicho go for the lunge down the inside? No, he does not. He's going to look to try and use the grip out of the corner. And here we go. Looks to the inside line. And he's going to commit to the inside line. Crowden moving over to cover the inside line. Contact made between the pair of them. And still contact there being made. And that's allowed Lifeboat to come straight through. Thank you very much. I'll take those 2 positions off your hands, boys. No worries. And oh, Crowden and Chicho coming into contact there. Chicho getting absolutely boxed in. Nowhere that Chicho could go there. Crowden there just really getting up close and personal with Chicho under braking, and that's just got those 2 tangled up. Crowden definitely I don't think should have came over that much on Chicho, but we'll leave that up to the stewards if it does go into that. Is of course Dirk is going to take the race win, and now it's all about this race to the line. Volokongan, Alex Marciano. Volokongan will have DRS. He will have ERS. He does have the front wing damage, which will hinder him here for the left and right. But he's got the ERS, he's got the run. And it looks like it is potentially going to be P2 there for Volokongan at the line. And it is going to be P2 for Volokongan. He just gets ahead of Alex Marciano. Typical in P4, Kevin in P5, Thiago P6, Lucas P7, Lifeboat P8, Chicho P9, RWB P10, Medal coming through in 11th place. And a very chaotic end to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix there. As it is Shazoo 1-2 in the end. Dirk Lowe, absolutely incredible pace, and he could have won the race. Like, he didn't really need to do much to win the race. His pace was just so fantastic. And you could just see he had the edge over everyone there today. Of course, fastest lap going the way of Lifeboat. The in-game fans driver of the day is, of course, Chicho. Most overtakes is also Chicho as well, which is interesting to say the least. But running through the order one more time is, of course, Dirk, who takes the victory ahead of Volokongan in second place. Alex Marciano completes the podium for ET8. Typical there in P4 with Kevin Zumberg in P5. Thiago in P6. P7 going the way of Alien Motorsports is Lucas. Lifeboat for ET8 in P8 with the fastest lap of the race as well. Ticho in P9, and then RWB running at the top 10 with Medal in 11th, Justin 12th, Crowden in 13th. Now a non-finishers here tonight were of course Cosimo, Mariska, Ivan, Gittin and Finge. And I'm not going to lie, I think there may be a few stewards reports that will go in, but provisionally, right now, that is the finishing order. So we'll see what happens if the stewards do intervene on any of the incidents that we saw here today. A great recovery drive from Lucas as well. I'm going to put it out there right now. Great recovery drive, obviously. Early on, he did have that moment where he spun on the inside curve when he was side by side with Roller Kongan early on in the race, and where he fell to the back of the field, and he did a fantastic job coming back through the field to get himself up into P7. A great result for Typical as well, up in P4. Fantastic from him, up from 11th to 4th. Brilliant. I think Ticho and Crowden will probably be having words with each other after this race. That is for sure. But of course, next week, I believe, round number 6, we will be heading to Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix, which is, again, going to be a very interesting one. Of course, the Wall of Champions chicane going to be very tricky for these drivers to navigate. And I'm not going to lie, when it comes to Canada, keeping yourself penalty free is the be all and end all of that particular circuit. So I think as long as the drivers are doing their best to make sure they keep their penalties down to a minimum, they're going to be doing fine. But for right now, it is a Shazoo 1-2 as they will continue to increase the gap in the championship. That was the points coming in tonight. Of course, they were leading by 16 points, and the gap is now definitely a lot bigger, as obviously Alex finishing in P3, Lifeboat down in P8. Yeah, it's going to be a decent gap now for Shazoo at the end of this race. TF10, I think now potentially will drop behind Evolution Racing. And a good result for LR would jump them up ahead of Future Racing Team. And of course, all Elite Racing Team as well should be getting themselves a little bit further up the order. But yeah, that is it for tonight, guys. We'll be back next week for the Canadian Grand Prix, round number 6 of the championship. Until then, guys, I have been Michael Edwards, and you have been watching the CTC Console Championship. We'll catch you next week for round number 6 at Canada. Until then, guys, is goodbye from me. Goodbye.